MAGA is squirming. MAGA is scared. Some MAGA politicians are even calling for a civil war after President Biden bowed out of the race and endorsed VP Harris.
It's going to take a civil war to save the country.
MAGA is already back to using incendiary, threatening rhetoric about the Democrats. Not that they ever stopped, but a week ago, they were calling on everyone to cool off the rhetoric, to lower the temperature, and it took days, it took hours for them to make fun of people's deaths once again. For example, this story of Trump ally Laura Loomer celebrating the death of Texas Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who died last night from cancer, calling her a, quote, ghetto B-word, and saying, quote, good riddance. These were the same people saying that our rhetoric caused the attempted shooting of Donald Trump when Donald Trump's entire entrance into American politics ratcheted up the tensions. People forget this, but back in 2012, his claim to fame was saying Obama wasn't born in America. Then in 2016, he was calling to lock up Hillary Clinton. Really quickly, this is a photo from 2016 of a Trump supporter with a lock her up sign and a target over Hillary Clinton's head. It says, Hillary, rotten, Clinton. This is the type of rhetoric that Donald Trump used when he entered the game of politics. But back to Laura Loomer. Loomer is a major figure in the MAGA world and well connected to Donald Trump. Following his speech at the RNC convention, Trump blew a kiss from the stage to Laura Loomer. She is not some fringe politician on the internet. This is MAGA. These are the people that are close with Donald Trump. And let's read her tweet, even though it's disgusting. She said, even on her deathbed, this ghetto B-word couldn't keep President Trump's name out of her disgusting mouth. I'd say rest in peace, but we all know lying Democrats who have destroyed our country are going to hell. Again, but we have to cool off the temperature, apparently. Sheila Jackson Lee will be remembered as a destructive force in America and one of the most low IQ members of Congress in the history of our nation. This is while Congresswoman Lee's body was still warm. She had just passed away, rest in peace. Today she died. Instead of spending her final moments with her family, she was talking trash about Trump on X and spewing more lies. She won't be missed, but I'm sure she will still be voting Democrat this November. Good riddance. And this is supposed to be the party that is driven by the morals of Christianity. They're supposed to love the family structure, but they are just terrible, terrible people, and they prove that time and time again. More examples of their apocalyptic rhetoric after the Trump assassination attempt, after Kamala Harris was nominated. James Woods said in reply to Libs of TikTok, one of the worst accounts on Twitter, Libs of TikTok posted a story saying manhunt underway in Michigan after a suspect ran over an 80-year-old man who was putting a Trump sign in his yard. And Libs of TikTok likes to spread lies. There is no evidence that this was a politically motivated attack, but of course they're going to try to paint it as that. James Woods quote tweeted it and said, "Are we ready yet?" saying, are we ready for a civil war? That is a call to violence, and it's not very implicit. He is making it incredibly obvious what he's saying, but of course that is going to be allowed on X while liberals get banned for saying stuff about Donald Trump. This is about to get incredibly inappropriate, but they're also posting memes of Kamala Harris. It says, Joe 2024 and Harris. At Trump rallies, they also sell merch that says, Joe and the hoe gotta go. I've seen it 100 times with my own eyes, and there's always little kids walking past it, but again, the party of family values. I have more to break down, but first, here's another example of Republicans cooling off the rhetoric. This is Ohio State Senator George Lang calling for a civil war. This is the definition of upping the tensions in America. Leave a like on the video if you think that Republicans are the cause of the political violence that we see in America today.
Trump and Butler County's J.D. Vance are the last chance to save our country politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved. It's the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. And if we come down to a civil war, I'm glad we got people like Schmitty and the Bikers for Trump on our side.
But yeah, Democrats need to cool off the rhetoric, right, everyone? It really pisses me off that Republicans try to gaslight us. They try to project when they're the ones who have upped the tensions in American politics many times. They also tried to cherry pick President Biden saying the word bullseye in a closed-door meeting, like that somehow provoked a 20-year-old from Pennsylvania to shoot former President Donald Trump. They were saying that hours, literally 1 hour after the shooting happened, they were saying that it was President Biden's fault, and all of the facts facts that have come out since then have gone against that. But this is why they're so angry. This is why they are mad. Can Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump? Here's what the polls show. The Democratic Party appears to be injected with new energy following President Joe Biden's decision on Sunday. Kamala raised a record-breaking $81 million within 24 hours of announcing her candidacy, and as of Monday night, Harris has secured enough support from delegates at the DNC to clinch the Democratic nomination. And it seems like the Trump campaign was completely blindsided. They thought that Biden was in the race and that he wasn't dropping out, and all of the polling that they have on the back end, I'm guessing, shows the race more competitive. Let's read what this says. Even if Harris becomes a Democratic nominee at the convention, concerns about her ability to compete in a general election against former President Donald Trump remain. But a slight majority of Americans have a negative opinion of Harris, according to 538 polling. 51% of Americans disapprove, but Trump has a higher disapproval rating of 53%. Aggregated election polls show Harris lagging behind the former president by a small but not insurmountable margin of 1.5 percentage points on average. And what you need to keep in mind is that this is before Kamala has campaigned, before she has spent $1 on her own campaign. I mean, Biden has spent some money, but 1.5 percentage points behind with zero campaigning is so much better than President Biden's standing, which was about 6 to 7 points behind with hundreds of $millions spent and many campaign events visited. Again, the difference is Kamala Harris is 1.5 points behind with zero campaigning. Biden was 7 points behind with all of that campaigning. That is why we are in a better spot. We just jumped up multiple percentage points and we still have room to grow. It seems like President Biden kind of hit his ceiling and wasn't growing any further. Listen to this. ABC News, The Washington Post, and Ipsos, these are high-quality pollsters, conducted a poll from July 6th to July 9th, interviewing 2,400 U.S. registered voters via phone. ABC News and The Washington Post are ranked second in the 538's list of best pollsters. Their survey found that Harris outperformed Trump by 2 percentage points. That was slightly better than Biden, who in the same poll performed exactly the same as Trump. However, this poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 2 percentage points, which mean that Trump and Harris were neck and neck. So, Trump and Harris being neck and neck is not necessarily a bad thing. Again, our standing has jumped up a few percentage points, and Harris should be able to campaign effectively. She's charismatic, she can prosecute the case against Donald Trump, and I can't lie, Donald Trump is the easiest person in the world to throw a punch at. Donald Trump has so many character flaws, and the fact that President Biden struggled with pointing out those flaws does show that Harris will be a better candidate. I mean, of course, President Biden gave some pretty good speeches, but it should be so easy to knock Donald Trump down on his ass, and Biden just wasn't doing it in a satisfying way, unfortunately, while I think Kamala Harris will be able to. But either way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Go join the Adam Mockler subreddit, the Adam Mockler Discord. Comment a blue heart if you made it this far. Let me know who you think VP Harris's VP should be. I want to know from you guys. Love to hear from the fans. Make sure you have a great day, and peace out.